Adjournment, I don't see either of the planners with us yet. Do you see them here?
Yes, Courtney's being promoted as we speak,
Okay,
and she's first up.
great. I think we can go ahead and get started then. Can we do let's go ahead and call the July 14th Parcel Map Review Committee of Washoe County to order at 2:01. Can we have a determination of quorum, please?
Yes, and I'm also promoting Dale Way, so he'll be on shortly. Let me just confirm he's on here as a panelist. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see. We have Rob Pierce,
Present.
James English,
Present.
Wayne Handrock, and in his absence, we actually have Jennifer Heron,
Present.
Roger Pelham, who is absent, but in his absence, we have Eric Young
Present.
and Dale Way. We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the ethics law announcement. Jen, that's you.
Certainly. Committee members are reminded that if with respect to any matter or any person coming before the committee today, if you've received a gift or loan, if you have a pecuniary interest, if you have a commitment in a private capacity, such as a family, employment, business, or similar relationship, or if you've provided representation or counseling before an agency to a person or entity for compensation within the last year on a matter that's being considered today, please remember to disclose that gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation at the time the matter is being considered. And further, please abstain from deliberation or voting on the matter if it's clear that the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Committee members are also reminded that if you've had any contact outside this meeting with any persons interested in a matter coming before the committee today, please disclose the nature of that contact at this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Let's move on to the appeal procedure. The appeal procedure is identified on the agenda for everyone, but I'll read it for us now. Most decisions entered by the Parcel Map Review Committee are appealable. If you disagree with the decision of the Parcel Map Review Committee and you want to appeal its action, call the planning staff immediately at 775-328-6100. You will be informed of the appeal procedure and application fee. Appeals must be in writing, must be delivered to the Planning and Building Division within 10 calendar days from the date that the decision being appealed is signed by the Secretary of the Parcel Map Review Committee and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Move on to public comment. Adriana, do we have any public comment? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to approval of the July 14th agenda. I have no reason to move it around. Does anybody need a change?
No.
A movement, move to approve, anybody?
James English moved to approve the agenda as submitted. This is Rob for the record. I'll second it.
Thank you, James and Rob. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? The agenda is approved. Thank you. We'll move on to the minutes of June 9th. I have no reason to change any of those minutes. Does anybody need any additions, changes, edits to the June 9th minutes?
Health does not.
Okay. All right, great. Good job, Adriana. Then let's entertain a motion for the minutes.
James English moved to approve the draft agenda minutes.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the June 9th minutes. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
All right, it looks like, Rob, you didn't unmute yourself for that. Can you please unmute?
Yeah, I wasn't there, so I abstained from it.
You're going to abstain? Okay, so who were ayes then?
All the ayes, everybody was an aye except for Rob who abstained.
Okay, thank you. Just want to be clear for the record.
Wayne told me he was fine with that. So.
So the minutes are approved with one abstention. Let's move on to the project review items. The first is 7A, tentative parcel map case number WTPM 21-0025, Leon Drive. We have senior planner Courtney Weiss to review that for us. What do you have? What do we need to know about this one, Courtney?
Good afternoon, Senior Planner Courtney Wyke. I am going to attempt to share my screen so you can see the parcel map in question. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. The item before you is requested parcel map record number WTPM 21-0025, located at 5290 Leon Drive in Sun Valley. You will note the record number references 2021 date. This had apparently been submitted back in the fall and somehow was missed, so we are processing it now in 2022. The proposed tentative parcel map would divide a 0.667 acre or 29,054 square foot parcel into two parcels, one being 15,688 square feet and the other being 13,455 square feet. The regulatory zone for the parcel is medium density suburban. The minimum lot size is in medium density suburban is 12,000 square feet, so it meets the minimum requirement. The required setbacks for MDS regulatory zone are 20 feet from the front and rear property lines and 8 from the side property lines. The staff report did incorrectly state that the parcel was vacant, as was indicated in the application. Upon further review, staff did confirm there are existing structures on site and that the owner plans to remove them prior to final map approval. Upon consultation with the applicant and legal, I am proposing the following additional condition of approval be added as part of any possible approval. So it would be condition 1H, applicant shall remove the existing structures or provide evidence any remaining structure meet the required setbacks for the regulatory zone prior to final map submittal. Since we did not have an illustration showing where those structures are, we can't determine whether or not without removal or a amended map showing that they meet those setbacks, that they meet that standard. So that is the proposed condition, and the applicant has agreed to that condition. Access for both parcels would be from Leon Drive. Parcel 2A gains access paralleling the northern parcel line along 1A. Designed as a flag lot, Parcel 1A is also split between flood zone AE and flood zone X. A condition of approval requires a note be added to the final map indicating structures within a FEMA flood zone must comply with the Washoe County Development Code, Article 416. Conditions of approval were included as Exhibit A and no recommendations of denial were received. With that, staff is recommending approval with the addition of the proposed 1H condition. And I can take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Courtney. Do any of the members have any questions? Courtney, I'm looking at the screen that's up right now. There's two sets of dashed lines. I can't make out what they
Correct. Yes. And let me see here okay. I know that I had that same thought. Now I'm blanking on what that was representing. One.
It looks like one might be setbacks, but then I don't know what the other one is. Are you proposing it doesn't say anywhere that you're proposing a building path or a building location along with the map. But are these dotted lines intended to be recorded on the map? Or
I
is
know
this just information for
Yeah.
us?
you've got me stumped, but I do remember this being something I questioned myself and I figured it out and now I am not.
Could they be
Is the applicant on by chance?
For the applicant side, I do have Tori Jackson, and she is available. So, Tori, if you could please unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. My microphone wouldn't unmute for some reason for a second
No
there.
worries.
Hello, you guys. I'm honestly not sure what the inner set of lines mean. That's probably a better question for Dan Kelso, who is not on the call right now. I am aware that the outer ones were meant to be the setbacks for the proposed lots, but I'm not sure what the inner lines mean.
Well, what those inner lines are we normally don't need the setbacks to be recorded on the map
Right.
unless they are indicating a buildable area, unless you're trying to record a buildable area on the map. And so we need to be really careful with what this map is saying. I don't know if this is trying to indicate there should only be one set of dashed lines, and it should be indicating what they are, unless there's some reason for there to be two dashed lines. And I need to know what these are.
Can you please scroll down a little bit, whoever's sharing the screen? I believe there's a figure down here that shows
Yeah, there
that there
should be.
are MUEs and setbacks there.
Oh, okay. That is what it is. Thank you. I it's the public utility easement. So that is, it's delineating the easement.
Okay, thank you. Can you scroll back up?
Yes. Apologize. Without having, I knew there was a rationale there, and without having that, yeah, apologize. So the setback would be 20 feet, but then the public utility easement further. So they're indicating essentially the buildable area with the public utility easement. And I am not sure if that is uncommon or not the way, if that, maybe it can help if I have both showing.
I don't think we usually show the setbacks on the parcel
No.
maps.
Not usually. And so for parcel 2A, I'm not sure that's how we would really tell them what their setbacks are. That looks more like us establishing a buildable area instead of what the regulatory setbacks are, which is fine if that's what they want to do. Do you get what I'm
So-
saying?
Yes. So the outer line actually looks like that is that's the utility. So
Yes.
really this is it sounds like really we shouldn't have these setbacks on here. But the setback for the regulatory zone is actually the inner box.
Yes, exactly. And so there's no issue with parcel 1A, because that's how any planner at the front desk would tell somebody what their setbacks are. But for parcel 2A, that inner box is not what we would tell somebody at the front counter their setbacks are.
Would it not be 20 feet from this inner line here is my understanding?
Not necessarily 20 feet from the roadway as well, because they have a flag lot that goes out to the road. It's a good idea to establish a buildable area, and
It's not along a roadway here though.
it goes all the way out to the road though, right? It connects to the road.
This part does, this portion.
And does that give them the frontage requirement that they're required to have?
Yes, because this whole area would be unbuildable. So yes, because this is the side property line.
And then, yes, but the west property line, that's for their flag, right there is their front.
My understanding, Eric, was that this is what we base the 20 feet off of. And this line you're seeing here is related to that utility easement. So this is all unbuildable. It has to be set back 20 feet from here. So this is the regulatory zone setbacks.
I don't think those are the regulatory zone setbacks, but I think that is the appropriate building area. So I think that should be established as the building area and not the setbacks.
Right. And but typically we don't actually have setbacks being shown on these parcel maps. Is that something that either can be a condition to require that they remove it, or does this need to be reconsidered?
No, the final map can just not have it on there. That can be a condition. Jen, do you have anything to say about this?
I would say that, yes, you could have a condition of approval requiring the applicant to remove the dashed setback line on the final map, but that's also something that you would on the record want to ask the applicant's representative whether they were agreeable to that or not, because I'm not familiar with why those are included on this parcel map.
I'm not sure it's necessary to have their approval for us to put that on there, Jim.
I think I'm speaking for Dan Kelso, the PLS who stamped the map. He does have a note on there saying that he was trying to grant easements for utilities. And I have a feeling that's why he showed it on there, because he was trying to delineate from the utility easements for each of the lot versus the setbacks. And I just don't think that the lines were showing properly. But I think that it would be, he would have no problem removing those lines before publishing the final map if that became if that was an issue for the committee.
I'd like to remove it from parcel 1A and leave it on parcel 2A. What do you think about that?
Removing the utility line easements, or removing
the setback.
Okay. Yes.
Eric, this is Jen here. Why would you remove it for one but not the other?
Because one is a really simple answer for a planner to give you what your setbacks are. 2 is a very difficult answer, and you might get different answers from different planners. And I think that this having a buildable area established in 2A settles that on into the future. When a planner 10 or 15 years from now is trying to tell somebody what their setback is on 2A.
So would the setbacks for parcel 2A then not follow the MDS guidelines, or would we have to establish that at the time of applying for a building permit?
No, the setbacks that you're showing here are fine, and according to Courtney, follow the guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So to be clear, maybe just for a condition of approval, the applicant shall remove, we're keeping the public utility easement line on there?
Yes.
Okay. And removing only the setback line for parcel 1A?
Yes. And then, of course, for 2A, it needs to be identified a little bit more clearly what it is. Would be nice.
Setback line versus public utility easement, which was down here, but it would be helpful if it's actually on the map itself.
Yes.
Correct, which is what stumped me there for a second.
Stumped me too.
Sorry.
It's okay. thank you, everyone. Does anybody have any further comment? Adriana, do we have any public comment on this item?
I do not have any public comment.
I'd like to ask the applicant one last time if there's anything that they'd like to mention.
No, I just want to say thank you guys for taking the time to review our application, and I am here for any further questions that I have the capability to answer.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think I'll bring it back to us. Close the public hearing and call for a vote. Do we have a motion?
Jen Gustafson for the record. I'll just ask that whoever's making the motion, please include all of the changes that have been discussed that you wish to include in your motion. Thank you.
Jen, the chair doesn't typically make motions, but maybe we should today. Is that all right with you?
Yes, Eric, there's no prohibition for the chair making a motion.
Okay, thank you, Jen. I will go ahead and move that we approve tentative map WTPM 21-0025 Leon Drive with the conditions attached to the staff report, including the condition that we remove the setback line from parcel 1A and better identify the setback line on parcel 2A. And can somebody remind me of the other new condition?
And to remove the existing structures
Right,
or
I
provide
apologize.
evidence that they meet the setbacks prior to final map.
Right, and to remove the existing structures prior to final map or provide evidence that they will meet the setbacks as identified on the map.
This is Jen here, and I will second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So that passes unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody, for that discussion.
Thank
And we
you.
can move on to 7B, which will be tentative parcel map case number WTPM 22-0008 Rasmussen. And we have Julie Olander with us today to tell us about that. Julie, can you tell us what we need to know about this?
Good afternoon, Julie Olander with Planning and Building. Yes, this is a parcel map to divide a approximately 37.92 acre parcel into 4 parcels. One will be 22 acres, and the one will be 5.9 acres, another one will be 5.9 acres and 7, and then one will just be 5 acres. And so I will share my screen. Sorry. Just want to scroll down here. So I want to just point out this parcel is how it is currently right now. And this wedge up here is going to be abandoned with an abandonment. And I'm going to.
Julie, we're not seeing your screen. I don't think.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. Okay, share it says. I'm talking along.
There we go.
Is it there? All right.
Yes.
So this little portion up here along William Bent Road is going to be an abandonment. There's an abandonment application in right now. And that is one of my conditions that abandonment has to be completed. And I'm going to share this picture. So this is what it's going to be. So you can see that little wedge is out of it now. So, so they're proposing to create 4 parcels. This is parcel 1 over here. Then we have parcel 2, 3, and 4. The property has a zoning of it. Just get something over here. Gosh, sorry. I'm stuck on my screen. It won't move. Oh dear. I'm stuck here. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to move again. Trying to read my information on my staff report, but it's stuck behind my Zoom screen and it won't open up. I'm not sure how to do it. Oh, there we go.
Julie, is there a page you would like me to share from your staff?
Well, I'm just trying to get it on my screen and it's stuck. It won't move behind. I can't get it to move from the Zoom over. Let me see if I can get this now. Okay, there we go. I just want to get it on my other screen if I could. All right, here we go. So like I said, they're proposing to create these 4 parcels. The property currently is zoned high density rural on 33 acres and 4 acres are zoned general rural. And that is the corner that's up in the, this far right corner up in here. It has GR because of some flood considerations. So, but that portion of the parcel is going to remain part of the larger parcel. And so that's pretty straightforward in the sense it's going to be created into the 3 parcels with that one portion where the it has the GR designation will remain within the larger parcel. So the GR portion is not being made any smaller. And I don't have anything else to say. I'm not sure if the applicant is attending this or not. Do you have John Gomez attending, Adriana?
I do have a John Gomez, and he is being promoted, so he should be available shortly.
So that's the conclusion of my presentation. If there's any other questions, you can ask, or you can ask John, the applicant.
And he is now available.
No, thank you, Julie. We'll bring it to the board here for a moment. Does anybody have any questions on Julie's discussion? Mr. Gomez, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just like to make a small correction. So that north little portion of William Benton Road it's a boundary line adjustment map that's currently in process on the north side, not an abandonment.
I'm sorry, I meant a boundary line adjustment.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to clear that up.
I knew it was a boundary line, sorry. Thank you, John.
That's all I had.
Have we heard from any of the neighbors?
I have not.
The owner of this parcel is currently, he's on the neighboring north side, which is why he's the other portion of that boundary line adjustment. So on that northwest corner.
Okay. It's the cul-de-sac for the other property. So, okay. I don't think I have anything to add. All the committee members are satisfied with no questions right now? Okay. Adrian, do you have any public comment?
I do not have any public comment.
Okay, then let's close the public hearing on this and bring it to the board.
Eric, I just want to disclose I was a staff member for the health district that reviewed this originally. So our comments were standard and nothing out of the ordinary. So I guess I just need to know whether or not I should be voting on it.
Well, I'm not sure why you wouldn't. Can you explain why that might be an issue? I don't understand.
I was just told by Wes that I needed to disclose that. So if that's not an issue, it's not an issue. But
Jen, can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, Eric. So we've had some discussions with Parcel Map committee members before. It's about due process, about fairness and the appearance of bias. If you have a staff member who has reviewed an underlying project and has had discussions with applicants and has delved into things, there could be an appearance of bias if they then are voting on the project that they reviewed. So our standard has been to have anyone who's reviewed underlying projects to disclose that. And if they believe that there is any appearance of bias, to not to recuse themselves from voting on that. But that, of course, is a discussion, is a consideration that Mr. English would make himself, whether he feels that he can vote and that there would be no objective appearance of bias, or whether he should recuse himself or not.
Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate that. And that's a situation we're in because this board is somewhat staffed by staff members who have that then dual role sometimes, right?
Right. And we do, of course, want to try to have the people who are actually making the decisions not to be the people who are reviewing the project, but sometimes with staffing considerations, we run into this situation.
So with
Okay,
that,
yeah, I get it. I understand. I think here in planning, we do have a policy that the chair is never going to have one of these assigned to them. Right, exactly. Okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And James, thank you for the disclosure then. It sounds like you're going to go ahead and vote.
yes, I don't think there's any issue that there'd be perceived or known bias with this.
Thank you. I appreciate the discussion. I think that I will call for a motion then.
This is Rob. I'll make a motion. I move that after giving reasonable consideration of the information contained with the staff report and the information received during the public meeting of the Washington County Parcel Map Review Committee, approve parcel map case number WTPM 22-0008 for Elaine Rasmussen. Apologize if I said that wrong. Subject to the conditions of approval included in Exhibit A with the staff report, and make the determination that the following criteria is or will be adequately provided for pursuant to the Washington County Code Section 110.606.30E.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Jen here, and I'll second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So this passes unanimously. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's the end of our action items for today. We'll move on to agenda item 8, reports and future agenda items. Roger has not indicated that he needs to bring anything up, and so I don't have anything for you on that. Jen, do you have anything for us on legal information and update?
Nothing today.
Thank you. Anybody else feel they need to talk anything over? Anyone want to put something on the table for Roger to deal with? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to number 9, public comment. Has anybody come in with some public comment while we've been busy? Adriana?
No public comment.
Okay, then we'll move to number 10, adjournment. We're done for today, everybody. Thank you very much for good afternoon.